Well, I think it started very early. I grew up with a family that had bicultural musical tastes, so meaning Japanese and Western. I saw my first opera when I was 12 years old, and I saw my first kabuki at when I was 13 or 14. My father was born in Nagoya, Japan, and my mother was born in California. And I started piano lessons at the age of 5 while my family was still incarcerated in a World War II camp in Colorado. And when we returned to California, I continued my piano lessons all the way through my undergraduate years at UC Berkeley, where I was a music major. Well, after graduation and marriage, my husband and I moved to Seattle. And I became a public elementary school music teacher. And at this time, I was looking for someone to teach me the shamisen. And I found a teacher from Japan, and later, as I was taking lessons, I understood that she actually taught at the University of Washington in the ethnomusicology program, and she was teaching koto and shamisen there. So this obviously interested me, and I decided to go to the university and take an elective course in ethnomusicology. And it just opened up a whole new world of music to me, and it gave me a sense of validation for my cultural Japanese heritage. So at this point, I decided that this is what I wanted to be, an ethnomusicologist, and I quit my teaching job, and I registered as a full-time graduate student, and became an ethnomusicologist. Yes, my main areas are Afghanistan and Pakistan, and I did field work in Afghanistan for my master's thesis, and then went back again and worked for my PhD thesis, did field work. And later I went to Pakistan thinking that I would work with Afghan Hazaras who had moved to Quetta, Pakistan. But in Pakistan, I had a chance to travel around, and another world opened up for me. Especially, I got very interested in the kind of musical life around shrines, and how active and how important music is at the shrines. So since 1987, I kept going back periodically for 20 years. Well, I think it was two things, but one thing was really important, is meeting musicians and having a connection with them, and then finally inviting them to the University of Washington ethnomusicology program to teach there. The first one was Ustad Muhammad Omar, who was very generous in giving me rabab lessons. So I was his first, not only foreign student, but I was his first female student. Maybe I was the only female student, but I don't know. And he did come to the University of Washington. And the second person was Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, who was Pakistan's greatest qawwal. Well, actually, he's world renowned. And I met him on the first day, my first day in Pakistan. And he was very generous with his, time, and he gave me complete access to all his performances. And when he went to shrines, I went along with him. I had a video camera. He allowed me to take pictures everywhere, anywhere, at any time. And he opened up his house to me, and I went to his recording sessions and all his concerts, both in Pakistan and in the United States. So when I asked him to come to teach, he said no for 2 times, and then on the 3rd time he said fine, he would come. And so he did come to teach at the University of Washington in the ethnomusicology program. The last, or the second highlight, I guess, was the fact that I was able to get an NEH grant to digitize the archives, the music tape archives of Radio and Television Afghanistan. Because during the Taliban times, they took over the radio, and we thought that they were going to destroy all the music tapes. But unbeknownst to us, the archivists hid the tapes. And in 2001, they brought the tapes out, and I thought, oh, thank heavens, they're safe, but they're the original reel-to-reel tapes, and I thought they had to be digitized. So I applied for a grant and got the grant, bought the equipment, sent it all to Kabul, created a kind of invited a technician to come and teach them how to digitize. And from 2001 to 2010, in that time they finished taping, or they finished digitizing their collection. And so we hope it's safe. They were supposed to send the safe copies of the files to Indiana University, but they never did because the director of Radio Television Afghanistan quit, and he moved to Germany. And someone told me that the copies are in Germany. But I'm glad it's out of Afghanistan, that wherever they may be. So at least we know that there is a safe copy. I think ethnomusicology just opens up someone's perspective of the whole world. And it certainly has done that for me. And so I think it's really important. And it's not just to know that there's a different world out there. There are a lot of similarities, but the main thing is to make the connection and gain respect for all the cultures. I can't thank SEM enough, because as a student I came to one of the meetings, and this was back in 64 I think was my first meeting. And it was a small, very friendly group, and I got to meet all the people that I had read about, and it was extremely friendly, and they were inviting and welcoming, and it was a wonderful group. And the other thing is they have always been very open to women in SEM, and to this day, this is the kind of society that I think is wonderful.